G'day, this is Jim with Urban Self-Sufficiency, and today I'm going to show you how to make the easiest sourdough bread. You're going to start with a cup of water, 1.5 cups of starter, 2.5 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of salt. The easy part is you just take those ingredients, throw them in a bowl, mix them into a dough, and then wait for it to prove and then chuck it in the oven. It really is that easy. The most complicated part is obviously making this starter, which you can see I'm adding to the bowl now. I do have a video on that, so check the link in the description below to see that video. And the only other thing to really note with this is because sourdough starter is essentially a wet mixture to begin with, simply adding the 2.5 cups of flour may not produce the best dough. So I actually don't add the full 2.5 cups to begin with, and throughout this mixing process you'll see me adding some more flour as we go to get the dough to the right consistency. The dough is fairly slack, it's not very firm, but it needs to be firm enough to fashion into a ball or sort of like a loaf shape, which you'll see me doing. But just bear that in mind, that you may not want to add all of the flour to begin with and mix in a little more as you go. Now once the dough is firm enough to fashion into a ball, we're going to take a clean bowl and lightly oil that, and then we can pop that loaf into the clean bowl and allow it to prove. Cover it with a tea towel for that hour or so, and once that's done we can remove the loaf and chuck it onto a floured board, and we can start to knock it back, basically taking out the excess air. So you can see here I just prod it with my fingers a bit, and then I begin to fold from the edges in. I keep doing this until the dough takes a ball-like shape again, and then I flip it over and I begin to fashion it into its final shape. I do this by rolling the palms of my hands along the sides, like I do here, and just tucking the edges of my hands underneath the loaf to make it into that ball-like shape again. Finally, I'm just going to take a knife and put a few cuts in it to allow it to expand as it rises in the oven. The final step is to allow it a little bit more time to re-rise after the knocking back process before we chuck it into the oven. This should only take about 15 to 20 minutes. Once it's risen and you can see those cuts have opened up, you can chuck it in the oven at about 200 degrees Celsius for around half an hour, after which it should be nice and golden brown, and should also sound a little hollow if you knock on the side of it with your knuckle. Pop it onto a wire cooling rack for at least 10 to 15 minutes to allow it to cool down, and then slice and enjoy. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks to all my subscribers, and until next time, take it easy.